Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're gonna talk about FUJIFILM GFX ETERNA 55. Let's dive deep into it. So this is Fujifilm's Tokyo drifting maneuver. Basically, they are not fighting where there is a lot of competition, they are fighting where there is no competition. So GFX is the idea of making a large format, a big puppy for cheap. Now let that be very clear. When I say cheap, people will start firing missile. Cheap in relative terms, as in generally Ferraris are far more expensive than Lamborghini, but does not mean any Tom, Dick and Harry can buy Lamborghini. So cheap in relative term is like, Patek Philippe is more expensive than Rolex. Does not mean any Tom, Dick and Harry can buy Rolex. So cheap in this market, as in like larger than full frame market. And yes, medium format has no definition. Like 35mm full frame, it's a 35mm full frame. It's a full dimension lock. Medium format simply means bigger than 35mm, smaller than large foot. And like, what the hell? Yeah, in film era we used to have like foot size plates. That is large format. So anything from that size to that zone, it's a medium format. That's why, like, if you will look into phase 1 medium format camera, the sensor is much larger. Hasselblad is a bit smaller, GFX even smaller, but they are all classified as medium format, and legally so. It's not like cheated or something, no, legally so. So what size we are talking about? We are talking about 43.8mm multiplied by 32.9mm. Diagonal is 54.79, which is, they are talking about like 55mm. They rounded it up. What does that mean for you? Well, the biggest number that matters to you is this surface area, 1441mm square. Okay. Contrast with that number, well, 36 into 24, 35mm format. That's a unit, fixed unit. That gives you diagonal of 43.27 and only surface area of 864mm square. That's fundamentally larger. Like the surface area, the photo side, how much photons can fall into your imaging circle, it's bonkersly higher. It's not a little bit higher, it's bonkersly higher. So 1.6x larger, the whole surface area is huge. It's not minute, it's huge. And whole point is, light does not like to be contorted. That's why 200 megapixel of a mobile phone will never compare to 100 megapixel of this. Why? Light is contorted. Your optics, no matter how good it is, if you're contorting, like let's say field of view like this, and you're taking it and you're like, tweet, it's not gonna be good. Let's contort it. It's great. You need proof for that. Great. Look into full frame PL cinema lenses. They're huge. Like, even though they are the same what you call specs as what you can buy for something like A7 Mark V or Nikon or whatever have you. Why? People learned it the hard way. Glass bends light. Bending light will fundamentally introduce aberrations into it. So the easiest way to have quality without poo-poo is do not bend it too much. That's why the entry aperture on a cinema lens is huge. We learned it the hard way, and that's why people work their ass off to make telescope huge, imaging sensor huge. So this is huge and you cannot fake it. Meaning, oh, I can buy a Sony, Canon and Nikon that can give me 8K. Yeah, that will look poo-poo compared to this puppy. Even if you use the same glass. Like, let's say buy a glass for GFX series glass, figure out a way of attaching it, you will still find it kick-ass. Like, it's physics, because light is not being contorted. No matter what you do, there is a physical benefit of larger sensor which cannot be cheated. This is what they are offering. And that's why frame rate is only 24 FPS. It's almost in the same era where it's like, hey, red technically gives very high FPS, but the moment you go higher FPS is like sensor starts keep getting smaller. I generally hate that idea. And again, ARRI is just like, nope. ARRI just nopes it. So in those sort of world, the idea is very simple. We'll give you primary camera, and if you need high speed, spend some money on phantom. Like if you are shooting, let's say Sherlock Holmes, they burnt money on phantoms. But again, that's why that phantom looks good. So Fujifilm is trying to create a market where it's like, hey, you want medium format? Come to us. Now, are there other companies that are making medium format cinema camera? Of course there are. There is ARRI LX65 or something like that. And then there you have Red. And yeah, the prices are so exorbitant. This is free. This is free. This is like a rounding error in those prices. Like Avengers Endgame was shot into that large format, 65mm format system, and damn, that camera is so expensive, does not have a price. Get quote Not you, and be mindful, most people tell you like it's not even quote, like they will talk to you, can you afford the insurance on it and all that. It's like, it's almost like IMAX camera, IMAX film camera. So that's what Fujifilm is doing, is they are Tokyo drifting in large format and try to like, I will give you IMAX grade footage without destroying your bank balance. And again, IMAX will look better simply because of physics of surface area. They are coming as close to as they can. Like, would it match 1-to-1? No. Would it come close enough that you can slice the footage? Easily. Easily. That's the whole essence. They are fighting where there is not enough competition. So what's the specification of this puppy? It's a large format cine camera with autofocus. And that's a very crucial element here. Autofocus is never available in cinema camera. First, they want to control the focus breathing. That's why there is a guy known as focus pooler. On top of that, sensor wise, because phase array is a physical pixel sight on the pixel surface area, it does degrade the performance. You throw all that silicon away. You just like take it, delete it. Like the same guy who delivers the silicon in the, like, you know, semiconductor companies is like, okay, you want this semiconductor for A7 or you want a Venice? Okay, select the layer which all the phase detect, delete that. Like delete all that pixel. Same Canon also does that. It does mean there is a physically different silicon for cinema industry, for proper cinema. I'm not talking video, cinema. Does it improve color quality? Little bit. Dynamic range? Little bit. Very little, but it does. That's why people spend money on that. But again, they do not sell enough of it, so price is very high. They are not doing it. That's why autofocus matters. That simply means they are actually just Control-C, Control-Ving a GFX sensor without recooking it. Because it would require re-spinning up the semiconductor fab. It's like, okay, make it again, but this time disable the, or remove the layer of that. So that's why that part is important. It is indistinguishable from GFX sensor, so to say. G-mount lenses, that thankfully they have an ecosystem, and they support ARRI PL mount adapter. This is one very good thing about cinema industry. They figured out lens mount so long ago. It's like, yeah, whatever lens you want to put on it, put on it. Like you can buy K-Infinity. It's like, I want Sony lens, put on it. I want Nikon lens, put on it. I want Canon lens, put on it. I want Cinema PL lens, put on it. They are also doing the same thing. That's one genuinely good thing about cinema industry. They figured this lens thing out so long ago. It's a physical manifestation, as in remove the front plate, add this or do that, and everybody supports everybody else. That's a very good thing. And I mean with electrical signals also. So now they also have variable ND, because again, they are trying to be nice. They're trying to be easy to use. So variable ND goes from 0.6 to ND 2.1. It's not a very strong one because their target is not a, you know, electronic news gathering where they're like, dude, this camera has to tank everything. It's not designed for that. It's more of like, you know, cinema where it's like just a little bit of taking the edge off, as they call it. So, and to make sure that smoothness is there, the steps are 0.015. So that is it. And dual side monitors with there, like they had extra monitors and they're like, okay, put one and then put one here. Yes, both sides have monitor. They were flexing. Cooling fan, thankfully this has cooling fan, so you can trust on this puppy that it's gonna work even in Indian environment. And fundamentally it has easy battery swap, which is very disappointing because it's almost like they look at K-Infinity. K-Infinity had this unique ability. It's like you take a battery grip, as in like hand grip that has battery inside it, plonk it into your camera, it will do the handshake and all that. And let's say you are shooting with a V-mount battery, it runs out, you throw away the battery, put a new one in while camera keeps recording. It does half of that. Like you can throw away the depleted V-mount battery, put a new one in, but it cannot be recording if you do that. That's weird to me. It's like, why? You have inbuilt battery and supposedly the camera is efficient enough that it should be able to do it for 30 minutes. So I'm like, that was very uncooked. It's like, bro, that does not make sense. Like having hot swappable, that would have been awesome, but that's weird. And the Sony battery is NP series battery, which I think every Tom, Dick and Harry uses at this point in time, 2355. CFast Type B is the primary flash media for them, and they do have Genlock, thankfully. It does make me very angry, like Canon's C series camera does not have Genlock. What's the goddamn point? So Genlock allows you to have multiple cameras. Let's say you are using this for making 3D, where you have a beam splitter and second camera on the bottom like Avatar. You can sync them. Or like, you know, going 300 where it's like one telephoto, one wide angle. You can have them with beam splitter and sync the camera using Genlock. So there is some genuine advantage, and like this is properly built, but again, not having redundant recording, that's a bit underwhelming. And again, that UPS feature is weird to me. It's like, why? Like you are 90% there to what it has to be. It's like, hey, shoot the camera, if battery goes out, kaput, swap a new battery and done, go home. So that's weird. It's almost like the electrical guy who's like routing the PCB for the electronics is like, he did not have enough time. He's like, oh, skip that. They don't give me like enough time to develop this and test it, and then it's just like, okay, do everything. Very weird. Now, what about the real world? Here's the deal. It's not a big puppy. It's like in terms of digital flexing muscle, it's not. It's H.265, all intra, 422, 10-bit only. Like, wait a minute, that's underwhelming. Even Blackmagic camera can flex that. Yeah, it's by design. Why? Because, well, A, they understood the fact that there is a physical compression effect happens when you physically control the light. If you expand the light, even on poo-poo lens and poo-poo compression effect, your video will still look better. Like there is a fundamental benefit. You can see that when people are like, if I live stream with this camera, even though megabits per second is like barely 5 or 10 megabits, I'm not even talking megabytes, 10 megabytes, the stream is that small, but why the heck it looks good? Camera. Again, you can take a webcam that is 4K, still will look poo-poo compared to this full HD output. So same thing they are relying on here. It's like H.265, decent enough compression. All intra, that is very important. You do not want GOP encoding, as in like every, basically you take 5 frames, you throw away 2 frames in between and replace it with predictive frames. You do not want that. That's how transmission footage works. As in when you are watching YouTube, that's what you are receiving. When you are watching Instagram, that's Instagram, you are receiving that. Netflix, you are receiving that. But when you're shooting, you want to shoot in all eye, as in every single frame is recorded. Benefit video editors will love it. Motion compression artifact disappears because there is no motion prediction happening. There is compression artifact, but that is like, okay, frame is huge, let's shrink it. Not like, okay, I think this happened, but again, you double compressed it. So all eye does give you a better system. And thankfully, it's an ancient technology. Even my like ancient DSLR Canon 800D had it. So you should be able to, but be mindful, the file size are painful. So you do get a decent system. 422 color, is that enough? At 8K, enough. That's like enough. 10-bit, enough. Now, one core thing you have to tell, oh, but it does not have the dynamic range of like ARRI. Have you seen the price of ARRI? Oh, it does not have the dynamic range or the speed of red. Have you seen the price? That's the core essence of it. And one person said it quite well. It's like the most awesome looking movies generally shot on positive, not even negative, positive. And yes, there are two different things. Negative has high dynamic range, like I think 11 to 12 can be touched with that, and positive barely 8. It's like, wait a minute, that's very low. Yes. So how the cinematographer works? That's the job of cinematographer, compress the dynamic range of the scene. Why do you think they have fill light? So there is no darkness that is being destroyed by the lack of dynamic range. All of these is an action that a cinematographer takes. It's like, okay, my camera equipment has this much range. Let's say it has 8 stops of dynamic range. They will work their ass off to limit everything to 7 stops and have 1 stop of buffer. But run and gun, yeah, that looks cool. But that's why cinematography invests so much on lighting, scene setup to compress the dynamic range. And again, if people are coming from that sort of ecosystem, you give the dynamic range and the file limitation, that's like minor inconvenience. So again, it would be better to have better, but it's not necessary. And especially if you're professional enough to deal with positive films, you're gonna be like, shut up, take money. It's like, bro, that's minor inconvenience. I won't even notice it. Because again, sometimes in positives, they have to actually develop that thing and then see it. And yes, that also applies on IMAX film. It's also not that large dynamic, but it looks so good and highlight roll off because the physical roll off is huge. The film is freaking 65mm. It's huge roll off. So it has enough silver ions to actually render those things. It has enough travel, like light beam has enough to travel. So that's the whole essence. The essence is not very high spec. It's not like high frame rate and all that. And SoC is this, X processor 5. And again, if you know this, that's the whole point. This is a very low end processor, comparatively speaking. It's not like a flagship system. It's a very low end. And again, to quell people's problem, if they're like, hey, I would really love it if it had RAW, it's like, okay, we're gonna give you RAW over HDMI. Now, if you're dealing with cinema camera, having external recorder recording this is like minor inconvenience. So they're like, hey, 8K, proper 8K with fidelity, shut up, take money. So you do need to have a quality lens to really make it shine. But again, it will give you a look that you cannot cheat, cannot fake, like flat out. No matter what you do, it will have a look and feel to it, which has that look and feel to it. This is what you are paying for. Basically, the whole camera is just a selling package for this sensor. Now, this is a very great news for all of us because competition is a good thing. Even if this camera is not what you are looking for, simply because more player in the cinema space equals price control. And I have lived long enough to see that, where Canon used to, Red camera used to have like proprietary mags, which was basically M.2 SSD, not even NVMe, SSD, and they were just charging whatever they wanted to charge. Again, slowly, brick by brick, Nikon became good, Canon became good, Sony became good, and they're like, yeah, we can't do this. Okay, everybody goes to see fast express card now. And then they're like small cameras, with low budget cameras, like they had to do it. They were not selling enough. And you're like, but ARRI does not do that. No, they do. Their cameras now is much cheaper than they used to be, and this already sold. The company is already sold. So you have to understand, having competition is a good thing. That's the easiest way to keep the price reasonable. Again, if you think GFX cameras are expensive, look into phase 1 cameras, and then you'll be like, shut up, take money. So that's a good thing. And right now, large format cameras are the hot thing. Even Hail Mary was shot onto that. Simply because every Tom, Dick and Harry, every YouTuber now has a large frame camera, like full frame. Like full frame video was like, whoa. Like that was like, whoa. Large aperture lens, whoa. Now every YouTuber has that. So that look and feel, the wow effect, that has like eroded long ago, where it's like, you have to go even more, even harder. IMAX now. No, most people can't afford IMAX film. So they're like, yeah, that's the digital. Okay, ARRI is so goddamn expensive. Most people can't afford it. Okay, Red is still not that cheap. So from that vantage point, this camera is a very unique thing. And more lens will be built for large sensor, because that right now is the primary weakness. If you really want cinema grade quality lens, this is the only offering. This was made for ARRI. Panavision system, and again, Panavision themselves have a film that is like that wide, ultra wide and all that. So it can easily have image cover of 46 mm, really high end, and it does have a little bit of squeeze, 1.3x. Now like, wait a minute, that's a very subtle squeeze. Yeah, the squeeze was specifically designed so you can get 16:9 on a sensor like this system. Benefit, you will expand it and you will get true IMAX specification. True specification, not like, oh, I'm faking it. No, 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 true specification. So but you do have to have these lenses. And why these lenses are huge? Well, simply because they learned it the hard way. Thou shall not contort light, have less contorter. So that image circle 65, you can buy a Fujifilm's native lineup. You can buy these system. PL mount does not have that many. But again, more will be sold. I'm pretty sure if Fujifilm sells enough of it, Sigma will be like, hey, let's try it. Because again, there are options. There is a Red camera, there is a basically ARRI camera, there is Panavision film cameras. Maybe we can, like, chip into it, so that market will expand. That's a really good thing. Higher quality lenses for more imaging options, great for all of us. And upcoming cinematographer, amateur cinematographer, they can play in the big league, because again, look cannot be replicated. You cannot, like, if you do your job right, it will look like cinema, where it's like, whoa, like it just looks different. You may like it, you may hate it, that's up to you, but it has something that others can't replicate. Red is a good thing. Red is 20 years old at this point in time. 20, it was a bit more. But again, every time everybody used to laugh at this, like, oh, what Red is offering and all that. And Kfinity, now they are also here. Zcam. So these are good things for all of us. Having more competition keeps the price reasonable, and having more large format allows cinematographer to stand out. Because if you're using a, like, one person said it very well. You can have, like, Alexa 65. Great. Awesome. Is it like, it's $1 million camera versus a $30,000 setup, complete setup? Okay, price delta is huge. Like, let's just say call it 100x. Is it really 100x inferior? Think about it. Is your cheap Fujifilm camera, is it 100x inferior? Short answer is no. Like, flat out. Like right now, you can look into basically Sony Venice and compare that to Sony A7 Mark V, which I have right now. In a professional hand, the gap would be so minuscule that it would be difficult to do, like, okay, it's like, it's there. Again, if you're paying for it, if you can afford it, there will be a lot of friction point with this camera compared to a cinema camera, but people will get very close to the output. Like, close. So that's what these companies are realizing, and that's what good for us. Whereas like, yeah, you are charging whatever you want, but it's not black magic. That aura is slowly starting to fade. It's not black magic. So I'm happy with this. Competition, again, not about the cinema camera itself, but about the fact that somebody is trying to fire missile where there is nobody. That's clever. That is clever. So this was my presentation on basically a hopeful future with Fujifilm having medium format cameras. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, enjoyed it, then click the hype button. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.